Have you set it up properly?
Yeah.
Yes, good lad.
Marvin, I tell you what, I'm having trouble getting the stuff off. It doesn't come off very easily. I need to get some baby wipes. Marvin! Marvin! You listening? Wake up, Marvin! Marvin! I think he's getting the message. So,
see,
by the
you
time
want to do it. You just can't help yourself.
What's that?
I must formally address the audience. So, listeners.
No. Welcome to episode 32.
Here he goes.
I tell you what, I was talking to my daughter this morning over WhatsApp. I was fucking right. There's no such fucking thing as epsilon brainwaves.
Well,
We were talking about it yesterday, remember?
Yeah.
Fucking self-help piece of shit.
I thought it was a foregone conclusion.
Hey?
I thought it was just like, of course
I like to be sure about these. Now, for the listeners, my daughter's studying medicine and she gets 93% in microbiology, so she's a smart lass and she did a bit of research. And there are delta waves, apparently. They're associated with rapid eye movement sleep, which again is not really to do with hypnosis and installing new beliefs. But epsilon waves come from the fucking heart. They're to do with your heart, not your fucking brain. So you piece of shit fucking mental space guru twat, shut the fuck up. Stay in your own fucking lane. Don't talk about things you don't know anything about, you stupid piece of shit. Anyway.
It wouldn't surprise me, though, if he ever heard this. He uses that in his marketing. So not only do I, manipulate your alpha and beta waves, I then fix your heart with your epsilon waves to make you really love your new habits. That's how I do it.
It's a bit like that marketer we know who stands on stage with a wonky eye saying that he fixed his eye with the power of thought. And you look at it when you say, you look at it when you say, no, you fucking didn't. It's as wonky as fuck. It's as bent as a 9-bob note. Anyway.
The same geezer that forces his staff to attend places and then makes them pay for their own fare and accommodation, and he'll sack you if you don't come to these events. That's a nice way to run a company.
Yeah, we start doing that with Holly.
Imagine that. Holly basically, I tell you what, Holly fucked up with her internet and like when it was coming and when it wasn't. And, we've got no real responsibility to provide her with internet, but we was like, well, just any extra 4G data costs we'll take on.
Take it on the biz, yeah.
Yeah, where most places would be like, well, why have you done this? This is poor planning.
Yeah, I mean, people are so fucking uptight about these things, aren't they? They really do get uptight about it. I was asked the other day, just moving into what we're talking about, not really pricing, but sales. I was asked yesterday in response to one of our snippets from the podcast, a couple of questions about, I don't remember the detail, they were quite long and involved, but essentially they boiled down to, one of them boiled down to, should you watch your competitors and take your lead from your competitors or not? And I just don't get that way of thinking. I mean, obviously, you're always, if your competitors are doing clever stuff that you could borrow into your business, like systems and processes and novel approaches, yeah, by all means, use those yourself. But there's a difference between that and slavishly having a knee-jerk reaction to what your competitors are doing, cutting prices, raising prices, changing delivery models. It's folly, because not only do you not know the full picture of why they're doing it, you don't know the full story of why they're doing what they're doing, even if there is any rationale behind it, you just don't know. But also it's all beyond your control what they're doing. So if you start behaving in a certain way because they're behaving in a certain way, then you've given up your own control. It's ridiculous. I mean, my view is we don't have any competitors. No matter who's in our biz, the guy with the original OTT podcast, he's not a competitor. No matter how good or bad he is, he's not a competitor. He just does a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
All these social media talks and other educators in marketing and business, they're not our competitors because they just don't know what we know. And if they do, they don't know it in the same way. And even if they do know it in the same way, they don't teach it in the same way. And if they do teach it the same way, they don't teach it as well as we do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fucking different.
No one has our genius model.
No, the accelerator model, no.
The accelerator model, sorry. No one has our accelerator
nobody has
model.
the evolved genius.
Yeah.
Not
no
even
one has. No one has a slightly tubby 24-year-old, one-eyed, one short-legged 24-year-old.
Okay, so what you're saying is we're handicapped.
Me and you are a pair of spastics, mate.
We are.
There's no,
together we make almost a whole person, don't we?
Arguably not.
Well, we've got Holly to shore up the bits that we don't make.
Exactly. Me and you, we're probably about 3/4 together, and then Holly makes up that extra quarter.
Now you imagine, right? If you, me, and Holly were in a hotel, say, delivering one of these events, and there was a fire, you'd be too weak and fucking sore to get out. I wouldn't care about getting out because I'm not afraid of these things. And Holly wouldn't know what to do.
Well, one of you would probably start having a meltdown about the loud noises.
Oh, that would be both of us, I should imagine.
Yeah. I'd be like, guys, we've got to go. Just get my wheelchair.
I'll tell you what.
Both be there, fingers and ears.
It does make me laugh. I mean, people who... I mean, nobody likes a fire alarm, I don't think. I'd be very surprised if there's anyone out there who enjoys listening to fire alarms. But what they don't understand is when a fire alarm goes off for me and I'm wincing and not cowering, but I'm tensed up, and people say, oh, I feel like that. I know what you mean. You don't. You really, unless you're autistic yourself, you really do not know what I'm going through. It's a physical fucking incapacitating pain. You know, we don't just like it. It hurts. It's a physical fucking pain, and it's paralyzing. Horrible bloody things. But anyway, today, dear listener, welcome to episode 30.
For fuck's sake, John. Just tell the cunts, yeah.
We are talking about sales.
Why won't subbies sell?
We've been banging on about pricing, which is all well and good. But okay, you say you set your prices and you've got all your pipelines in place. What about fucking actually selling this shit? You know, the third driver in the accelerator model, sell. You know, you attract the right clients, you seduce them into thinking you're the fucking best thing since sliced yogurt, and then you sell to them.
That's a weird one.
What, selling or sliced yogurt?
Sliced yogurt.
It is, isn't it?
Where'd that come from?
I don't know. It's deliberately stupid. Now, here's the thing. I mean, people I see it on LinkedIn probably most of all, and people will make up the most outlandish fucking self-justifications for not selling. You know, and my thing I often say, generally to piss people off, because I know it does, is, you know, the reason you give value is you're too fucking chicken shit to sell it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's almost, I mean, people who work in arty type stuff. So that means graphic designers often, and people like that, even copywriters and stuff. They will kid themselves into thinking their stuff should sell itself, and it's beneath them to market. You know, quality sells itself. No, it doesn't really. I mean, to look at the likes of, say, Rolls-Royce and say, well, look, that quality is selling itself. That may be true, but what you're saying is Rolls-Royce today, not Rolls-Royce when it first started, and Mr. fucking Rolls and Royce, or whichever one it was, designed the engines himself, and all right fucking job getting it off the ground. You know, you didn't see it in those. You don't see it then. You see what they've got now. It's a little bit like saying, if you want to be a billionaire, do what Richard Branson does. You know, no. Richard fucking Branson behaves like a billionaire. He doesn't behave like someone who's not a billionaire wanting to be one. The two things are completely different. If you were to behave like Richard Branson, you'd go broke very quickly. and you know, that's not a criticism of anyone. It's just the fucking fact. So people will avoid selling, and they've got this idea that you don't need to sell. On the other side of the coin, people get this idea that selling is, you're a born salesman. It's not true. Or it requires gift to the gab. Not true. Or it's even worse than that. It's somehow fucking dirty or tacky or unpleasant. You know, and I don't think it's any of those things. But I mean, subcontractors, tradesmen, and this applies to virtually every business too. And we're talking about subcontractors because that's the market we mostly serve. But virtually everyone, they won't sell for 3 reasons. The first is they just don't know they have to. Right? They think sales. Most salespeople are actually order takers.
Yeah,
that's all they are. You know, they think they're salesmen and women, but they're not. They're order takers. They don't know any sales techniques. And I'm not talking about the cheesy ones that Zig Ziglar used to fucking promote, the 75 different fucking types of closes he had at all. That kind of old-fashioned, generally high-pressure sales, I wouldn't say it's out of date. It never was in date. It's just a horrible way of doing it. But some people think that's what salesmanship is. Quite rightly, they don't want to do it, so they don't do any selling at all. So they don't know they have to. They don't realise that you've got to sell. As Robert Ringer said, nothing happens, no one makes any money until someone buys something.
Yeah.
You know, that's true. So if you are the kind of person who thinks your stuff will sell itself, quality will sell itself, there is a grain of truth in that, and it won't hurt. Of course it won't. But, you know, you will go broke. You will struggle in business. The world is full of competing products where an inferior product trumped a superior product with better marketing. Give you two examples. The first is Betamax and VHS. Betamax was in all respects a better technical solution to the problem. VHS was just better promoted. And of course, with those things, you get to a kind of critical mass, like the bigger fish in the pond, and the bigger it is, the quicker it grows. Second one, and this is going to probably raise a few eyebrows, and it's not strictly true because they weren't really contemporary. But if you look at the difference between Roald Dahl and J.K. Rowling, I think Roald Dahl was a far better author. Slightly different genre, but he was a far better writer. J.K. Rowling is not, I'm not saying she's a bad writer, and I'm not knocking her success or saying it's all about marketing. But the fact remains, a large part of her success and popularity was the way she was marketed.
Yeah.
I remember reading, before anyone knew she was, a story about this unknown author who was about to publish a book, and the tale of how she wrote it during nap times of her baby as a single mother on longhand on the coffee shop table. I've been told that's not true, or not entirely true. It's a bit embellished. I don't know. I'm not making no comment on that. But the fact is, a huge part of J.K. Rowling's success as an author is down to good marketing, and there's no disgrace in that. I'm not saying there is. What I'm saying is, I think Roald Dahl was a far better writer. He wasn't unsuccessful by any means, but he didn't reach the stellar heights of success. I mean, she's a billionaire, billionairess, whatever you like to call her. But, you know, so there's two examples, and there are loads of them. There are loads of them. Inferior product, superior marketing. And indeed, nearly every single one of us, probably including us too. There are people out there who are not as smart as you, as good at your job as you, as experienced as you. Inferior product, inferior service, and they're doing better than you are, doing better than we are as well, simply because they are better at marketing, either because they know more in that respect, they found a better groove, that they're more diligent with their processes and systems, that kind of thing. It's just true. So they don't know they have to, and therefore they don't. The second thing is, following on from that, even if they do know they have to, often they just don't know how to. Like I said a minute ago, they've got this idea that sales is really about having the gift of the gab and giving lists of features and telling people how great you are. It's like the problem, we laugh about this with Zach, but you know, a plumber, for instance, and you see this all the time, so I'm not knocking Zach or anyone else or any individual. You see it all the time, electricians, painters and decorators, all kinds of retail. We've been in business since 1977. No job too small. We won't be beaten on price. We've got the widest range of stock in the business. All those things. So fucking what? None of that matters. Can you solve my problem right fucking now? It's all I care about. You know, understanding that kind of thing is fundamental to say, what are you holding up there? I love taps. That's the fucking potato from Zach. So they don't know how to. We'll say a bit more in a minute, but sales is a learnable skill. You know, no one is a born salesman. I mean, I'm guessing some people are perhaps more predisposed to it, because they like the interaction. But it's like any predisposition. It's just where you start from. It's just your latent ability, your latent potential. If you don't exercise it, you won't reach the potential. A little bit like, there's a guy called, you won't know him, it's way before your time. He was a bodybuilder. I can't think of his fucking name now. Dorian Yates, gigantic bloke. But I've seen photos of him when he was 16, a little rake. Now his potential was he became Mr. Olympia, God knows how many times. He's one of the world's most famous bodybuilders. If he hadn't lifted weights like bodybuilders do, he would never reach his potential. He'd still be a skinny 50-year-old, whatever he is now. Yeah, his potential was great. Genetic potential was huge, but until he worked on it, he didn't realize it. It was the same with sales. You know, some of us might have a better predisposition towards sales for various different reasons, ability to read body language, better empathy, all those kinds of things. But unless we actually exercise them, we'll never know. So they don't know how to, and they don't learn. They think they can't. They've got no idea. And the last one, I think probably the most important one, and this isn't any kind of canonical list or hierarchical list. I think a lot of them are afraid to, because
for sure.
if you're doing sales properly, at some point, you know, you are going to ask for the sale. You know, there gets to a point when you've got to ask. Mm-hmm. Not like when you're having sex with someone, when it just kind of happens because you both speak the body language of love. It's not like that. At some point, you have to say to the client, the potential client, well, are you in or are you out? And at that point, things get very real, because you either get told yes, in which case it's great for them, or they get told no, in which case many of them feel a crushing defeat. Various reasons. They put loads of work into the sales process and it's all been wasted. Yeah, that's true. So don't do it. They take it as a personal rejection. He's not buying my stuff, therefore I'm a bad or unpleasant person. All these things. Oh my God, I've not made this. Am I going to make the next sale from? Because they see marketing and sales being an event and not a series of events. In other words, a process. All these things. So this is why I suspect a lot of people on LinkedIn, they talk all this bullshit about making relationships, giving value, dropping value bombs, all this bollocks, simply because they're too fucking chicken shit to post on LinkedIn and say, this is the problem we solve. If you make this profile, I want to talk to you, DM me. Because the thing they would fear then is a fucking empty inbox.
Yeah.
You know? Now, one of the earliest things I learned in sales, and I don't know even when it was so long ago, I can't remember not doing it. And it's the same with, in fact, I think I learned it even before I started in business for myself. It was when I was studying being a pickup artist, essentially. And I did that for a good reason, because being autistic, I can't do it the natural way, you know, the normal way of just reading body language and playing the mating game. I have to do it by rote. It's not having any emotional investment in any one outcome. So if this sale doesn't happen, it doesn't matter. If this negotiation falls, it doesn't matter. If this girl says no, it doesn't matter. There's always another one. When you start bringing emotion into the sale and thinking, I need to get this, I really need this sale, even if you do, once you start feeling that, it comes off you like a stench. And you're depending on how empathetic he or she will sense this. And they'll know you're desperate, and they'll treat you accordingly. You know, no one's going to, very few people will pay you full price if they know they can get a discount because you're desperate and afraid. I remember some years ago, the copywriter, John Colton, I was in a mentoring group with his mentoring group, and he told the story of when he was a young and up and coming copywriter, and he was quite desperate himself, and he went to do a job. He went to see a guy, and the guy says, yeah, well, so much money, start with $1,000 and then I'll pay you the rest, kind of thing. Fine. He got back to his office a couple of days later, check drops through the post, $500. And John rings this guy up and says, what gives? You said 1,000. And the bloke says, yeah, I could sense you were quite desperate. So I thought if I gave you 500, not 1,000, you'd work even harder for the rest. And John just tore up the check, sent it back and says, fuck you, man, I'm not doing that. And John, that changed his whole fucking positioning, his mindset. Yeah. Well, this is what I'm talking about here. He was desperate. The guy knew he was desperate, and the guy capitalized on it, or tried to capitalize on it. It's the same with you. If you're afraid to sell, people will know. Here's a classic thing that happens on LinkedIn. Someone will post, often an agency, like a website design agency, will post on LinkedIn. We've got a client needs so many pages of copy for a website. Who's interested, kind of thing. And you get all these fucking copywriters, me, look at my website, I'd love to do this. Oh, I'd love the opportunity to work with you. And I bet they get paid a fucking pittance because they'll just play them off. Well, we got one guy doing it. He said he'll do it for 20 quid and a half-eaten Mars bar, you know? And I'll do it for half that.
Mm.
Whatever your lowest price is, I'll match it and then take off 50%. That kind of shit. Yeah, that's what they do. And all this is because they're afraid to sell. They're afraid to say, here's what I do. Here's how it solves your problem. This is how much it costs. If you don't like that, fine, go elsewhere. But otherwise, you know.
People don't realise.
And none of that requires you to be pushy.
It doesn't. When you're putting your prices up, more than ever, you need a choreographed sales system. Furthermore, those who say sales is dirty, they're not very good at it, they don't like being sold to, so they don't want to sell to other people, have never experienced a good sales process. There are a few things in my life that are more satisfying than when I have a problem and I'm talking to a salesman and he walks me through a process and I feel like a child again, holding my father's hand as we cross the road so I can get to the park on the other side. Because that's what a good salesman does. They hold your hand, they make you feel looked after, they make you feel heard. They ask for the sale at the end, but at that point, if they've done a good enough job, you're just begging to give them the money. Just take my money. It was the same. Yeah, we've been in that situation before where me and you have been on the phone with the salesman. We'd like, just take our money. Yeah. We've had clients on the phone just say, take my money.
Other side of the coin, we've had people in main build and I'm not sure if it's happening in foundations, but certainly we've had people in main build and elite say thank you.
Yeah,
just after they've paid us fucking thousands of pounds. I really appreciate this opportunity to work with you.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And the first time it happens, it's a bit creepy. But you know, you soon get used to it. Here's the thing: people treat selling as if it's some kind of dark art or somehow unpleasant. Or the icky bits of doing business, the bit we don't really like to talk about around the dinner table. But I disagree. I think it's honourable. It's not dishonest. It's not dirty. It's like, to me, it's like sex. It's healthy. It's fun, and it benefits everybody when done properly. And I would go so far as to say that if you genuinely believe you can solve your client's problems, and you've gone into this, like on LinkedIn, you're saying I really like to help people, all this people stuff that people say. If you genuinely believe that, and we've got a client in front of us, and we can see, say he's like a plumber and he's making no money, and we know what the problem is within 5 minutes of speaking to him. We know it's like increase your prices, tighten up your fucking processes. We could do that. We could sit with you, we could do it in a week, but it's going to take longer because we don't offer that kind of service, or we do, but you aren't going to pay for it. You know, it'll take you 6 months. You won't recognize your business, even less time than that. If you believe you can do that, and you know it, you know, you are honest in your belief and sincere, it's your fucking sworn duty to sell to them. Because if you don't, no, you know, not only are you breaking your own kind of promise to yourself and the market as a whole, but you're letting your clients down. You've got people in front of you who would give you money if you had the balls to ask for it, to help them solve their problems. You win because you make money. They win because they get the problems solved. And a rising tide floats all fucking boats. The whole world gets a bit better. But because you're chicken shit, fucking scared of rejection, don't want to look embarrassed or talk about icky things like sales, you won't do it. So everyone goes home. You go home pissed off and fed up because you haven't made a sale. They go home pissed off because another time, we still got the fucking problem. I'm still working too. I'm still not making enough money. Still ain't working for you. What we're going to do for this business? So I go and get a job. You know, every fucker loses because you're a coward. So if you're listening to this, you're a coward. You're letting everyone down. We're including your mother. Including your fucking mother. It's true.
Yeah, of course it's true. Of course it's true. You just fucking sell.
Just a bit of a digression here.
Oh no.
I've got an upside down collie in the corner.
Oh,
but she's not just upside down, she's got her tongue sticking out.
Her tongue?
You have to take a photo of this and post it to you.
Yeah, send it to me.
Fucking hilarious.
Send it to me. Lots and lots of subbies and contractors and yada yada yada. The typical sales process is they turn up, they quote a job, they leave an invoice there, and they sit there and cross their fingers and wait for a call. Oh, bless her. She looks like a fucking idiot.
That's good. She's a fucking idiot.
We're talking about John's dog, not Mrs. EBG there.
Well,
you said it, not me.
yeah, she doesn't listen to this. I don't think. I hope not. Anyway. No, she's not an idiot.
No.
Well, she must be because she married me.
That is true. That is true. That is very true. Anyway, if you're a savvy tradesman, person who needs other people's money to keep your business afloat, which is every business, stop just turning up, quoting work, emailing over the quote or leaving the quote there, and just crossing your fingers, hoping you're going to get that call back. It's fucking stupid. Be more, be more John and Connor. Choreograph it, and at the very least, follow up yourself and ask for the sale. At the very fucking least, just ask for the sale. The amount of salespeople that just don't ask for the sale, or the amount of people that run businesses that just don't ask for the sale, is infuriating.
Well, here's the thing. I know. Even I will be sometimes disappointed if it's a no, because it's always nice to get a yes, but it's not crushing or anything else. But here's the thing. I know is sometimes what you need to hear, because if you've got a client, you've maybe done a bit of work and you're say chasing a little bit, or you're following up with. Sometimes you want to know, because if they say no, you can then move on. While there's not a no, you're thinking there's a yes, possibly. So you're going to invest more and more time and energy into it. And this is why I think some people put off asking for the sale, because like I just said, if it's not a no, it could be a yes. So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
When often there's not. I mean, more often than not, potential clients have no intention of buying from you. They're just fact finding.
Yeah.
This is why, I mean, part of the problem is salespeople or business owners don't have a script. They don't have a script for the sale. This is the number one mistake they make when it comes to selling. They don't have a script for the sale itself, and they don't have a kind of choreographed process to get them to that point where they're delivering the script. Now, my view is always about quid pro quo, which sounds very mercenary, but it's not at all. It's like, if I'm in every stage of our sales process, I give you something of value, and even like webinars, emails, like tonight's event and things, or last night's event. Well, by the time they read this, it will be last night. That gives people value. So if I'm giving something like that, if people want to get on the phone with me, say, well, I want something from you in return. Now, that's not necessarily money. It might be a promise to take the next step if I answer your question satisfactorily.
Yeah.
So for instance, if you're, this is a concrete example that any subby can relate to. Say you're selling kitchens, and the woman of the house is the one who makes the choice, but ultimately it's down to the bloke, because he probably signs the check at the end of the day. So really, you want both of them there whenever you do any kind of sales presentation. Yeah. I've never sold a kitchen, so maybe I'm missing a couple of details here, but for the most part, the important meetings will require both of them to be there.
Yeah.
Especially pre-sale. After the sale, maybe not, but certainly before the sale, the important ones are where both of them are there. So you should have a rule that says, whenever we have an important meeting or conversation, both parties must be there. If they're not, we don't have it.
Yeah.
Well, that's quid pro quo. You're giving them something of value. If you weren't, they wouldn't be asking for it. And they must give you something of value in return. And that is their participation. So phone calls, meetings, the decision maker must be there. And when you're setting up these meetings, you make it clear, both of you must be there. If you're not, we can't have it. And if you turn up and Mr. Bloggs has gone out, then you say, well, okay, we'll reschedule it. And you don't just go ahead because all you're doing, this isn't just being mercenary or awkward. There's a good reason for this. Imagine you're selling a kitchen and you need both of them to have buy-in to what you're selling. If you just deliver your pitch to one of them and you're selling it at a premium price, you will then have the script I mentioned. It's not a verbatim script, but it's a framework you use to structure your conversation with the lady of the house or the man of the house, whoever makes the decision. If you do that once, so you're selling a 5K kitchen for 10K, or you're selling a 20K kitchen, high-end kitchen, which requires some selling. If you just deliver it to the missus and she says, yeah, I'll speak to my husband when he gets in, she cannot possibly deliver the same pitch you have done in the same way. She can't answer the questions. So at some point, Well, one of the two things will happen. Either you lose it completely, he'll just say, I'm not paying that for a fucking kitchen. Next year maybe, we'll go somewhere cheaper. End of story. Or would you come back and speak to my husband when he's in? Because he didn't really get it and I couldn't explain it very well. Either way, you've wasted your fucking time, so don't do it. But of course, this fear of losing the sale stops business owners, especially subcontractors and tradesmen, from doing this.
I'm going to make a blatant sales pitch right now. It's not choreographed, but if you were sat there thinking, fuck me, this makes sense, but I ain't got the foggiest idea where to start. We recently updated our foundations mastermind with 3 trainings. One called the closing corridor, which explains start to finish the concept of lead generation to actually making the sale. And then there's 2 trainings in there where we give you the scripts our clients use, that we've used, that many a rich person has used. The first training is all about screening the right people. We call it the casting couch, pre-qualifying. We call it the casting couch after the famous Pornhub couch for new talent to show their skills. And then we have another session called the final cut, which is where you actually ask for the sale. So if you're stuck, don't know where to turn, foundations, come join us. Email holly@growyourbusinessfast.co.uk.
Right. So,
and that kind of ties in nicely to the last thing that we wanted to talk about. So perhaps I shot my load too early there and should have made that blatant pitch after. But John, you've made a note here. The number one mistake subcontractors make when it comes to selling, and I feel like we've just hammered it the whole episode anyway.
I'd mentioned it, mate. That's what I said. I did say that.
Oh, was it?
Obviously, you weren't fucking listening. You don't listen to me at all. You never listen to me. You never buy me flowers. You never call. You never visit.
I did miss that.
When was the last time you gave me a fucking blowjob?
Last event.
Oh yeah, right, fair enough.
We're not actually gay. We do need to be careful because me and you could we fit a stereotype, especially bald and long hair.
We're not actually gay. We just like the butt sex.
No, we say no homo.
It's only gay. It's only gay if your scrotums touch. Apparently.
I thought it was only gay if you make eye contact. That's why you always want to be doggy.
Yeah, fucking hell, get an autistic boyfriend who's not gay.
That's why I thought it wasn't gay.
Oh, fucking hell. I remember reading, it was either from Florida or Texas, obviously, 2 gangbangers. One of them killed his best mate because they were having a threesome with a girl and their balls touched. So one of them got really angry, saying, "Oh, you're just gay," and beat him to death. Oh, for how weak is that man's ego? How gay is he?
if you get upset by something like that, oh god!
Especially if you have a fucking threesome, you're all butt naked and heaving away and grunting, and you have a little fucking touch of your bollocks, and you kill him because I'm gay now. Hello.
It's like being upset if you get cum in your face when you're in the firing zone.
I suppose so. I've never actually had that. But...
Live a little, John.
Live a little.
Anyway, what's the 1 minute hate, big man?
Projection. People who project.
Oh, really?
Oh, see all the time.
Provide some context to what projection is, just in case.
Oh, projection is where you take your own feelings, responses, beliefs, and the rest of it, and then put them outwards onto other people. For instance, I'm sure there's more to it than that, but this is specifically what I'm talking about. And it happens so much on LinkedIn and social media. LinkedIn in particular, because it's a business platform.
It happens just so often in life. I have friends that say to me, "Oh, it's so hard to, make money. It was much easier when my dad was younger." And I sit there and I look at our figures and I'm like, it's not that hard.
Well, that's not projection.
Well, they're projecting. Well, they're telling me. They're bringing me into their pit.
No. Projection is more a case of everyone's finding it really hard in COVID. We're all suffering. No, we're not.
Well, yeah, that's literally the point I just tried to make. He's saying people our age are all suffering because it's harder to make money.
That's not what they're saying. You're thick, man. You're just stupid.
You just said people are.
I didn't. You didn't listen to what I said. No, because they are not passing on their projection onto you, which is what I'm saying. They're saying it's hard for me to do. They're not saying it's hard for everyone, which necessarily implies you too.
No, they are. They're saying it's hard for everyone between the age of 25 and 20 to be successful in life.
That's not what you said.
I said it's hard. Well, maybe I missed a word, but I thought I said
really important, words actually have meaning.
It's hard for people like us to make money. I wish we was, around in our father's times where it was much easier.
It fucking wasn't.
Yeah, no, I know it wasn't, but you had me losing my mind there. I was like, I'm glad I asked what projection is, because I thought I understood and was asking for the benefit of the listener, but fuck me, maybe I needed it. Anyway. A little bit like that
bloke. Another thing was, other examples, when that guy said to me on LinkedIn about how do you know, or how does it feel to be a pariah? Well, then he was kind of implicitly projecting his own fear of being a pariah onto me, because you wouldn't threaten someone with that unless you had a deep fear of it yourself, unless you knew that was something they were afraid of. As it was.
Start the timer.
Well, I kind of take the wind out of the sails now. I had to explain it to you.
No, we had a misunderstanding, you big fanny.
No, you had a misunderstanding, not me.
You and your little
I understood
silly ears. Yeah, if she was normal size with normal ears, you would have heard me.
Normal fucking sized ears. What's the fucking wrong with the size of my fucking ears?
The other night we was playing a drinking game, and we was using these cards called "These Cards Will Get You Drunk," and it said the person with the smallest ears has to drink, like neck their drink. Rows ensued. Your ears are smaller than mine. Well, that ear, your left ear is smaller than your right ear. You're a fucking malformed cunt. It was crazy. So I had to run into my office, grab my ruler, and I said, I'm settling this once and for all.
Measure it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Have you ever played Cards Against Humanity?
Yeah, I've got it.
Fucking love that game. I got it somewhere. I don't know where it is, but I fucking love that game. It's so funny. It's so wrong.
Apparently exploding kittens is more offensive.
Oh, excellent. I've never heard of it, but that sounds good. As long as it doesn't actually harm kittens. I'm not a great cat. I didn't hurt them.
I fucking hate cats, but yeah, never hurt them. Anyway, let me start this timer.
I'm not in the mood for it now.
Well, then do it in a loving way and coach them through it, Coach John.
Fuck, I hate you. I really hate you.
See, I'm just trying to rile you back up now.
Well, I've got a training to give in 45 minutes.
Oh, so you do want to do it?
No, I don't. I'm going to do it because some of us take our job seriously.
You're such a fucking woman, aren't you? You know, people moan about our digressions and the way we just go on tangents.
Like, oh yeah, I care so fucking much.
Well, just
don't you?
I do
give a shit. I mean, you listen to the podcast and complain about it. Oh, fuck off. Make your own fucking podcast if you don't like it.
Yeah, it's the people that continue to listen and then complain.
Yeah, I know. It's like people watching the TV all right to the end of the fucking film and then saying didn't like that. Then why you fucking watch it then?
Oh God. See, I got you fucking rolled back up. I know what I'm doing, mate. Anyway, hey Siri, start a timer for 1 minute.
1 minute, starting now.
Oh, just sit here in silence for a minute. No, fucking people who project like they'll start their fucking sentences, their posts. Everyone feels, we all know, we all feel like this. And then it's some fucking heart-rending, navel-gazing, heart-on-sleeve wearing bollocks about how weak and fucking pathetic they are. And all these cockwombles fucking join in saying, yes, we're all weak and pathetic too. It is the thing, it's a fucking business platform. All right, I'm not one of these people who says, oh, it's not Facebook. But the fact is they want people to give them money and take care of them and their problems. But they're fucking weak and pathetic and needy and projecting their fucking vomit everywhere. They are pathetic. I wish someone would take them out, shoot them, fucking bury them in a shallow grave, pick them up a week later, shoot them again to make sure, and then leave them out for the fucking foxes. Why are people like this, Connor? Come on, join me. Why are they like this? Why do they project? Why do they have to say these things? Why can't they fucking accept the fact some people are different and do not feel the way they feel? And there's nothing wrong with that.
Time. Hey Siri, stop. I realised something the other day. If anyone listens to this out loud, when we do the 1 minute hey, all of their gear must just set off.
No, because it's key to your voice. My Siri won't set off to your voice and the rest of it.
Not everyone has the latest kit. Mine's the same. But for example, if I say, hey, assistant, and my friend's in the room, his kit goes off.
Yeah, weren't we doing that once? And one of the calls, we were doing, hey, Alexa. Or something. Alexa.
To Holly.
Yeah, Alexa was it Alexa stream midget porn or something like that?
No, it was hey, Apple Assistant, because they didn't have the latest gear.
No, it was definitely Alexa we did.
Oh, was it? Well, either way, it was funny. Because they stop. You should all try it. If you're on a video call with people and you realise they haven't got headphones in, just say, hey, assistants, and some stuff, and you watch people go into a panic, especially if you say it at max volume, because if they've got it hooked up to speakers or whatever.
These people who make a mistake with Zoom and get caught being videoed, themselves masturbating and things when they're on Zoom calls. That's fucking hilarious. How the hell does that happen?
Mate, I don't believe them. Maybe 1 in 10, but these people have got a kink, and it was an accident. I'm sorry. No, you wanted to wank in front of your class, you fucking weirdo.
People are really weird and fucked up, aren't they?
They are, but don't kink shame, otherwise we'll get cancelled by another fucking suppressed sub-community somewhere.
I'm not kink shaming, as long as it's all fucking consensual, it's none of my business.
Well, it's not consensual.
Still, I'd say it's fucking weird and fucked up.
Yeah,
I mean, there's such a thing as a manure fetish.
I didn't, but I do now.
You do now. I mean, if that's not weird and fucked up, what is? That's not kink shaming. It's just shit shaming.
Do they just want to be buried and?
Yeah, they just like covering themselves in manure. I mean, great if that's what fucking turns you on. It's none of my business, but I'm still allowed to say it's fucking weird and fucked up.
Yeah, that's fair enough. There's this podcast.
It is fucking weird and fucked up. It's shit, for God's sake.
Yeah, it is weird. There's this other podcast I listen to very occasionally, just when the title's juicy. It's called Other People's Lives. And they have a lot of weird, kinky people on there. And there was one serious rape kink. She'd get people to apply, and she'd choose someone. Then she'd give them picture of what she looks like and the rough area of where she lives. And she said, sometimes it will take that person 3 months to finally pin me down. Sometimes it takes them a couple of weeks, depends how good they are. But she loves living in fear that any moment she could get grabbed and raped. But it's technically not rape because she's consented to it. But yeah, she said one time she got thrown into the back of the van.
Are they actually rape her?
Well, it's consensual because she said...
Yeah, no, what I mean is they have sex with her. I don't mean...
Yeah. She told another story of how she thought this person had just given up, so she started to re-advertise, and then in the middle of the night, her door got kicked in. And the police were called, and the police didn't believe the story, and that. So she had to show the paper trail and that. And there was another one about this lady who, every time she has sex with someone, she collects their blood and then bathes in it, and some weird shit out there.
Blimey.
Anyway, let's wrap this up. We've lost
everyone
now. We've lost everyone now.
How strange people are.
Yeah, we've lost everyone now.
Okay, so if you want to make more money with less work, less hassle, and fewer headaches by working with a better class of client, charging higher prices, and having the whole thing fed in the background, hands off, and on autopilot with a turd pipeline, then go to OTT podcast.co.uk and join or read, and do what do they do there? Oh no, it's OTTcollective.co.uk, isn't it?
That's the one.
And join us in the Facebook group. And there's loads of shit like this. So I'm just a bit bamboozled by this fucking rape fantasy thing.
Yes.
In the meantime, stay safe, stay inside, wash your hands. Rape. And do not shit on your fingers. See you later. Ta-ra.